Barry, the first time I heard you say, "I am the master of the West," I remember it created a slight rebelliousness in the speaker. But it was a very important statement. You seem to imply that you, born and raised in the West, are capable of penetrating, in general, the Western mind, whereas the Eastern master, in his innocence and beauty, may be less capable, or has been less capable, to penetrate that specific Western mind. Yes. So I started considering this, asking myself, what does he mean with, what is the difference between this Eastern mind, or the Eastern seeker, so to speak,
yes,
and the Western mind?
I speak to the West. If anyone writes to me from the East, I've had letters from villages in India, for instance. I say, I would like to say to you, you have no need of me to ask me these questions if you would only return to your innocence and the wonder and sweetness of the East that is in you.
Right.
But as you've tasted a Coca-Cola and as you've listened to the radio, you are now Western. Mm-hmm. And I can help you by telling you, would you please give up all your Western ideas and just return to the innocence of the East that is inside you, inside your body. I am master of the West because I can define any, in answer to any question regarding love, God, life, truth and death, I can actually define it in Western terms so that it is in everybody's Western experience, and I can then tell them how to reach that blessed place of the East, which is inside the psyche of everybody. For the truth is that in the beginning, if I might use those words, and the beginning is now inside everybody's psyche, there is only the state or place of innocence, which is the East. It is like the sun that is always rising. That is the East. What has happened is the East has projected itself out more and more as the sun travels to the West and travels towards its own death or ignorance. So the Eastern impulse has projected itself into matter, into materiality, mm-hmm. into mind, into monitor, into analysis, which Thinking. Is the very antithesis of the original place of knowledge, which is the East inside of everybody. So everything like the sun has gone west. And we are now all screaming in our Western society for, please, some reality, some nourishment, something to live for, rather than to live at. And that's so. As the sun sets in the west, so our civilization is now gone west, and we are starved of nourishment, of spiritual nourishment, which means immediate connection with the original East, which is the innocence inside of everybody. Now, not some thought, not some religion, not some past master or teacher, not some tradition, but now, this very moment now, I am East. I am master. I am master of West because I am master of death. I am master of the death of the East. I am in the East now, this very moment. So I can, from this place of enlightenment, which I am, I can define anything, any question you want to ask me. In your experience, I will answer about life, death, God, truth, or love. I am master of West because I am of the West. The Eastern masters can reflect the sweetness and beauty and wonder of the East, and they can immediately, for those who are willing, usually their disciples, will destroy for that time the mental structure. Mm-hmm. And so the disciple collapses mentally, the self collapses, the structure of trying to hold on to something and be something collapses, and the disciple says, ah, how beautiful. how beautiful I feel and how beautiful to be in your presence, because that is the reflection of the Eastern Master. But as soon as they go outside, they build up their structure again, this Western structure of tension and wanting to know and wanting to be something. And again, they are lost. I am here to reflect, indeed, the East, which I do, but also to penetrate through the labyrinth of the Western need to know, the Western need to be, the Western need to achieve, the Western need to acquire, to possess. All this is Western. In the original East, there is no need to acquire, to achieve, to do any more than what you do, because action is pure. And if I can only return to pure action, there are no more problems in my life. But you know, it is the Western way never to take action, never ever to take the fundamental action. Everybody is running around taking the secondary action, but never the fundamental action. What is the fundamental action? The question is, why are you unhappy? If any man or woman on earth is unhappy and they come to me, I say, why are you unhappy? How dare you be unhappy? What are you unhappy about? Tell me. Tell me. They say to me, I want love. Or they say, I'm sick of myself. I say, would you please be specific? Don't give me any of that nonsense. Why are you unhappy now? And it is because the West will never face that problem. They will always nip off to the movies, have a drink, do something exciting, take a drug, instead of saying, why am I unhappy at this moment, and what am I unhappy about? That is specific. I am master of the West because I am utterly and completely specific and practical. The East is not practical. The East is a place of magic. You know? Magic is not practical. It is magical, the East. But the West is practical. The West puts a man on the moon, tightens up the nuts and bolts of motor cars. The East says, love one another. The East does not tell you how. The East tells you about. But I want to know how. And the only question is, what are you, man and woman, unhappy about now? And be specific. Don't give me second thing first. Give me first thing first. Then I can help you to free yourself.
If the Western mind, or Western man, is very worldly, into the other, oriented towards the other person, heaven is in your arms, so to speak, which the Eastern man may be less inclined to say, then you're saying that's why the Western man, being so much involved with the other, has to clean up his act. He has to get his life, which is at the moment very much into the other, addicted to the other.
Yes.
It has to be gotten right.
Yes.
And that, you say, the Eastern mind is less capable of penetrating.
Yes.
This mess the Western man has made of his life, or woman has made of his
Well, the Eastern mind can't, because the Eastern masters haven't had to contend with that.
How do you mean that? Not to contend with that?
Well, an Eastern master hasn't had the experience that I have had of the West. No chance.
True.
No chance.
That's true.
No chance. He can't do it. He can't even handle the West. He can't handle it. He doesn't know what to do. Can't handle it. This is a very material, mental,
yes,
cruel, competitive world.
So Ramana Maharshi, when he would be suddenly sitting in New York, would not know what he would get back to his mountain.
As fast as he could. He couldn't handle New York. I can handle New York.
That's the point.
Yes, I can handle anyone who wants to talk to me. They can talk poetry. Eastern Masters will talk poetry.
Yes.
But poetry doesn't solve anything. Poetry's beautiful, but it's no good to to enlightenment. You can be enlightened in the moment while you read beautiful poetry or something. That is enlightening in the moment, but enlightenment is an uninterrupted state of knowledge, of never being unenlightened again, not just partially for a while.
So Western man is cunning, clever, addicted to the other, and in a mess.
That is so.
And you, as a man of the West, who has gone through the experience of the West, is more capable of penetrating that mess. And
I know all his tricks, every one of them, because I know myself. I am he whom I deal with. I am he.
You've gone through.
Every man is myself.
That's right.
And myself is pain, unhappiness, yesterday, the past. And I know myself. Therefore, I know every man is unhappiness. And because I am me, because I am master, I can show him the place inside of him where this place is. I can take him there if he is willing. If he is not willing, I have nothing to speak to him about. Why should I? I'm not here to teach anybody who is not willing. But if he is willing, and he wants to come all the way, I will show him the way. But it will be not out into the other. It will be back into myself. And as he goes back into, he or she goes back through myself, my goodness, it is horrible. Because the only thing I have to go through is myself. No one else. I made myself on the way out. And to go back into me, the place of enlightenment and peace, I have to go back through myself. It's like turning round and facing a monster. So everybody in the West is running from it like mad.
That's right, yes.
I can't face myself, they say. And I say, you must face yourself. For that's the only way back. Yourself is the guardian of the threshold of enlightenment. There's no other monster. It's what you've made yourself that you must face. And this is horrible for all of us.
Is this Western mind or Western man so phobic about this message because they know intuitively that when they go inwards, so to speak, the kingdom is inwards, inside, you're liable to die to everything that you are not. In other words, that is a fear of death, so much prevalent in the West, and therefore refusing to go inwards.
You are facing death. You are facing the death of everything. You are facing yourself.
Thank you for this beautiful clarification of the Eastern Master and you as a Master of the West.
Yes.